Hi, hello. I'm Gautam Ashok from Chitra Chess Academy. I'm basically from India. In this lesson, we are going to learn about chess game from the very basics. Before going into the game, I want to explain few important things. I guess you all know about kings, kingdoms and wars. Yeah, I will just give a small overview. In olden days, instead of a state, we have kingdoms. And if you want to win the other kingdom, you need to arrest the enemy king. So then you are going to win. Similarly, we have chess games with the same concept. You need to arrest the enemy king. And while doing wars, we have some animals as army like elephants, horses, and camels, and also these soldiers with different weapons, bows, arrows, etc. So likewise. So now in the chess game also, similar to that, we can notice one coin that is the king. It is the symbol of the crown of the king. And next to the king, we can also notice a diamond crown, which is the crown of the queen. And you can also see some armies like this look like elephant leg. So this is resembling the elephant. In real wars, we call them as elephants, but in chess, we call them as rook. And these are like horses, we call them as knights, and this one are called like camels, resembling camels, and we call them as bishops. And these are our soldiers in chess, we call them as pawns. Don't worry if you don't remember these names, all this stuff I'm going to explain in detail. I just want to give a small overview about the chess game. So here you can notice one more important thing. So we can see white coins already arranged as well as the black coins. So it means this game is played between two players. One guy is playing from the white side coins, another is from black side coins. So let's say we are playing from white side. Our target is the enemy king. We need to arrest the enemy king. In chess, arresting the enemy king is called as checkmate. So we are going to discuss everything in detail from the very basics. Don't worry if you don't get anything here. Okay. So now let's clear all the chess coins and keep them aside to understand chessboard alone. Okay, now you can see a clear chessboard. So now these boxes, whatever you can see, are called as squares. So there are two color squares. Number one is light color, the other one is called as dark color. Okay, why I am calling it as light color and dark color? So we have different color combination chessboards like white and black, or you can have white and blue, white and green, something like that. So to make it very simple, one is light color, the other one is dark color. Dark color may be brown, maybe black, maybe green, whatever it is. Simple. Light color square, dark color square. While arranging the chessboard, make sure the right side corner for you as well as for your opponent should be the light color square. So this is the proper arrangement of the chessboard. Okay, and you can notice total number of six squares is 64, which is not that much important to remember. Okay, so now let's bring the army one after one. We know that we have two teams, one is white team, another is black team. I am assuming like, okay, half of the territory is our territory, so that you can understand lot of things very clearly. So let's assume that half of the territory is our territory and the other half of is the enemy's territory. In our territory, our army is going to be placed. So we know that the king in every kingdom is the most important person. Let's bring the king first into the game. Okay, so king, observe that the white king is placed in the dark color squares. Okay, next to the king, we have the queen. By the way, these are the crowns of the king. This is the crown of the king, and the other one is the crown of the queen. Okay, so in the corners we have a bit of strong animals, that is elephants. In chess we call them as rooks. We have two rooks, and next to the rooks we have horses. In chess we call them as knights. And Next to the knights, we have camels. In chess, we call them as bishops. Among the bishops, one is light color bishop, the other one is dark color bishop. Why I am specifying like light color bishop and dark color bishop? Later we can understand it. So for now, you just remember, okay, this is light color bishop. The other one which is standing on the dark color is dark color bishop. Okay, so we have soldiers in real wars. In the chess game, we have pawns. Altogether, we have 8 pawns, and we have equal number of enemy army which are exactly oppositely placed. Let's get the enemy army also. Okay, so now you can notice, so our army is equal to the enemy army. We are actually placing exactly opposite. You can notice that king is placing exactly opposite, similar to other pieces. Points to remember while arranging the chessboard. I'm just repeating, the right side corners should be light color for us as well as to the opponent also, and the white king is placed in the dark color and the black king is placed in the light color. To start the game, we should know how our pieces moves, all the rules, etc. So let's get into the moves of each and every coin. In chess, coins we call them as pieces. So from now onwards, I'm using the terminology like pieces. Okay, so let's start with the rook. Okay, this is the rook. So it will go in a straight way in 4 directions: upward, downward, left, and right. You can move to any number of squares, but it is limited to the edge of the chessboard. What I mean, so I can lift the rook up, so I can go and travel to any number of squares as I like, but it is limited to this edge. So now I can't move forward, I have to stop there. So it's my choice either to go to only one square forward, or I can go like all the way up. It's our choice. Okay, so you can move in 4 directions, either left or right or downward or right ways likewise. Okay, so let's say this rook wanna reach this square. So then how the rook can reach that square? You can take 2 turns to reach to that square. So I will just show you 2 examples how it can reach. Number one, first lift the rook all the way up and then stop there. Whenever you are going to change the direction of the movement, you should stop, and in the next turn only you can do it. So rook lift, and then in the next turn I will reach this square. So this is one way. The other way is you can also bring the rook to here and then reach the targeted square. Okay, so next one is the camels. I call them in general wars, but in chess we call them as bishops. So you can observe one important point. This bishop is standing on the dark color square and we call them as dark color bishop, and these bishops will travel in diagonals. It means cross lines. See, I'm just highlighting some diagonals in which the bishop can travel right now. So it will go only through the dark color squares in a cross way or in a diagonal way, whatever we call. So we can also bring the bishop to any number of squares as we wish, but limited to the edge of the chessboard. Okay, this is how the bishop moves. And now I have a small question. Let's say this bishop wanna reach to this square. How it can be possible? You can take 2 turns to reach to this square. Think for a while and think about the answer in your mind. Okay, the answer is, so the bishop can reach to this square first, and then in the next turn the bishop can reach to this square. So that is one way. The other way is you can reach the bishop to this square, you can bring the bishop, and in the next turn you can reach the targeted square. So that is how you can reach to the targeted square in 2 possible ways. Okay, so I told about something like light color bishop, dark color bishop. I specifically mentioned, right? So now you can observe. So this light color bishop will travel only in the light color squares. It can never enter into the dark color squares, as the rule mentions it should go in a cross way so that that light colored bishop will always go in light colors, dark colored bishop will always travel in the dark colors. They move in a diagonal way, in a cross way in general. Next comes the queen. So queen is the combination of the power of a rook and bishop. It is having the power of both like rook and bishop. So you can conclude in your mind that oh, it can travel in a diagonal way like a bishop, as well as it also has the power of rook also. So it can also go in a straight way. So this is the power of queen. So let's do some practical tasks. Okay, so right now this queen wanna go to this square. So then how it can go? So you can just move the queen one square forward and you can go diagonally. See, observe that I am either using in a straight way or in a diagonal way. So I can just simply go straight and then again straight. So or I can also use diagonal first and then reach this square. So you can use like both powers, like go straight or diagonal. This is about queen. Remember, queen also can travel as long as it likes, and but limited to the edge of the chessboard, same like rook and bishop. In general, king is a human and mostly he is like an old person. Okay, so the main thing about the king is king cannot go to like long distance. It can travel only to one square. So only one square, limited to only one square, but any direction. You can go straight or cross, something like that. So you can go to any direction but limited to only one square. So king is very simple to understand and remember. Next comes our tricky friend. This is knight. This knight has a very different move when compared to other chess coins, other chess pieces. Okay, so generally people call it as L shape. The knight moves in L shape. I will explain. So first try to understand this and then you will get more clarity about this. So this knight will go in four directions: upward, downward, left and right. I'm not done yet. So I just said it we can move in four direction. In upward direction, how exactly it is going to move? In the upward direction, it will like move like 1 2 side. Okay, let me show you. 1 2 and then immediately side, either left or right. So it means knight can reach to this square or knight can reach to this square. So it looks like L shape. Whatever the move we can see that look like L shape. Let's see in the downward direction. Count along with me in your mind. 1 2 and then side, either left or right. So knight can directly jump to this square, but to understand we are just counting like 1 2 side. After some practice you can directly notice that okay, what is the square the knight can reach. For initially right now you just count like 1 2 side, 1 2 side. See, observe now this shape, how the knight moves look like L shape. Doesn't it look like L shape? Yes, it is. Okay, so you can also reach to this square. Now right side, let's do it quickly. 1 2 side or this side. Knight can reach either to this square or to this square. You can choose any. Similarly, left side, knight to here or here. Okay, now let's do some practical tasks. Let's say this knight has to reach to this square within the second move. Think in your mind how the knight can reach to that square within the second move. Okay, the answer is 1 2 side. Okay, so this is how the knight can reach to the square in the first turn, and in the next turn 1 2 side. Yeah, okay, so knight can reach to that square within the second move. Okay, next comes pawns. There are a lot of rules regarding pawns. That's why I choose to tell about pawns at the last. Okay, so observe now. These pawns can travel only one square forward. Forward. Remember, they can go only in the forward direction. like other pieces, these pawns can never come backward or sideways. It is not possible for the pawns. They can only go in the forward direction. So this pawn can go forward and forward, that 1 1 square. But there is one thing in chess, that is you can make the enemy army out of the game. We call them as capture. In wars we call them as killing, but in chess we call them as capture. While capturing, if it is in our range, if you are able to reach that square, if there is enemy, then we can place in that square with our army, and we can place, I mean, this square is replaced with our army, and that knight is out of the game. We call them as capture. While capturing, this pawn can capture in a diagonal way, that too only one square. Okay, we understood that. So I will just revise about the pawns. Pawns will go only one square forward, but while there is a chance of capturing, then they can capture in a diagonal way. There is one more important rule regarding the pawns, as we discussed in the very beginning. So half of the territory is our territory, other half of the territory is enemy territory, likewise, right? So it's a very brave act from the pawn to reach into the enemy kingdom. If the pawn is able to reach all the way up, that's a great thing for a pawn, and it should be appreciated. For that reason, this pawn can be promoted as any piece. Like just now I promoted this pawn as a queen. We can choose, like if you want to get a queen, you can, or a rook or bishop or knight, not the king. King is the only person in the game, so we cannot replace, or we cannot capture him. There are some rules regarding king we will discuss, but remember, you can get queen or a rook or a bishop or knight. So okay, we understood that. So now we have a question. So can I promote one more pawn? Can I get one more queen? Yes, why not? You can promote another pawn and you can get another queen. So can I promote another pawn and can I get something else? Yes, you can. But personally I feel like queen is more powerful, as it is having two pieces power. So I am recommending queen to promote. Okay, so these are the rules about the pawns. And one more important thing regarding the pawns. See, when they are in the birthplace, this is the birthplace. Whenever any pawn is at the birthplace, it has special ability. What is that special ability? What I said is, these pawns can go only one square forward. Okay, but when they are in the birthplace, they can have the choice of going directly to the second square also. I will just show you some examples. Let's say this pawn has an option of either to go one square forward or two squares forward. I'm choosing like two squares forward, but whereas my enemy in chess we call them as opponents. Okay, he just choose to go only one square forward. That's our choice. In the next turn, what I have done is I just pushed my pawn only one square forward, whereas from his side he just pushed the pawn two squares forward. Now I pushed the pawn two squares forward. It's our choice either to go one square forward or two squares forward. Now it is diagonal, so now he can capture our pawn. So this is how the game can continue. Remember, the pawn in the very, like in the birthplace, so they can also go to the second square directly. So now hopefully you understood the basics of the chess game. We are not yet done. We are going to continue. We still have some more important things regarding the basics. We just learned how the pieces move, what are the names of the pieces. We will continue in the next video. Until then, take care. Bye bye. See you.